Hi everybody, Dimitri Bilgear here. So, I did the new Warrior Weekend, the Mankind Project Men's Weekend, coming up on 30 years this August, 30 years ago. And in that time, I've seen a lot of things, right? And early on, there was some sort of negative backlash. In the 90s, there's some negative backlash on the internet of people who were like, oh, this is a cult, and let's call out the New Warriors as a cult, and stuff like that. And so, at one point, I went and I looked at their discussion group. And so I reached out to them. I reached out to the leader of the discussion group, and he wrote me back. He said, oh, we know who you are, Dimitri. And, well, basically he stated that he was not a fan and that they were not a fan of Dimitri. So no, wasn't able to create really any reconciliation there, but in going through their discussions about how bad the men's work is and how bad the New Warrior Weekend was, there was one interesting thing that struck me, because it really showed how far you can go to misinterpret things. But what they said was, on this weekend, sometimes they will instruct men to kill God and then to create a new God based on what the leaders want their God to be like. Well, okay, that actually sounds pretty bad. But that, of course, is not what actually happens. That was, of course, not exactly what happens. What happens is sometimes in our work, the work that we do is we work hard to help men see what is it that you actually believe. If you believe in something higher, what is it that you actually believe about that something higher? How do you actually what sort of a higher power are you living your life under? And are you living your life under a higher power that's very loving and gentle and merciful? Are you living your life under a bitter, angry, vengeful higher power? And is that really how you want to live? For so many of us, we never really acknowledge this, but something Cliff Berry said once I thought was really smart. He said that if you help someone move their idea of their higher power an inch, everything else moves a mile. Because that's really the context for how we live our entire life. So we do actually ask men sometimes, so, okay, this is your life. What do you believe the higher power is like who set this up? Who would, if this is a heartbreaking situation that you're just stuck with, what do you actually believe about a God who would say, hey, I'm going to make this person, I'm going to set up their heart a longing to have this one thing, but I'm going to fate them to have to live a heartbreaking life of this other thing. All right, my work here is done, I've made this person. So we will sometimes show them, this is the life, this is the way you believe the universe is structured. What do you really believe about the something higher that would make that? And very often they'll say, they're like, wow, that something higher is really angry, hates me, wants me to suffer. Right? And when I work with Christians, often they'll be like, holy smoke, that's the devil I've been listening to. Oh my goodness. But really, there are two big questions you want to keep in mind when you're working with people about their higher power, because we want to continuously be making sure that we are not making them kill their old God and make one in the image that we want. We want them to have their own. We want them to have their own agency in this. If they say, yes, I like this bitter, angry God who hates me and wants me to suffer, we're like, great, now you know that. Have a great life. But there are two questions. The first question is, after you've shown them what it is they're actually believing in, you ask them, is this truly the highest, most merciful God, or higher power, or order of the universe, or higher self, or anything that they want to call it? Is this truly the highest, most merciful something higher that your heart can conceive of relating to? And it's kind of a weird sentence, but it really, really works, and it works that way. We're not asking them, is this the highest, most merciful something higher your brain can conceive of relating to? Because they'll say, yes, it is. The best thing my brain can come up with is work harder, you jerk, which is what I hear all the time when I look up for guidance and support. So we're not asking if their brain wants it. We're actually, we're deepening into their heart and saying, in your heart, right? There's a saying in Sufism that the heart knows truth from falsehood. So we want to get to their heart. Is it really true? Is this really the highest, most merciful something higher your heart can conceive of relating to, that says you're not good enough, I just want you to suffer, there are winners and losers in this universe and you're just one of the losers, that's just the way it is? Is that really the highest, most merciful thing your heart can conceive of relating to? And they will generally, I think always probably, say, they might say, well, in my head, no, but in my heart, but they get to their heart, they say, yes, my heart knows this is not the highest, most merciful. My heart knows this bitterness and anger that I feel when I kind of open up to higher support is not the highest. So that's the first important question. Is this really the highest, most merciful, something higher that your heart can conceive of relating to? And then if they say no, it isn't say, okay, are you willing to go seeking for the true source of mercy, love, and compassion with your heart? They say yes. And then we start seeking that. And a good way to bring that about is the second question, which is once they have sort of a sense or a role player or whatever for that true higher blessing, we ask them, so how does the true highest, most merciful divinity feel about you, even when you've bought the idea that whatever it is, right? We're asking, how does that highest, most merciful divinity feel about them when they're at their worst? So it might be like, how does the highest, most merciful, whatever they called it, feel about you, even when you've bought the idea that some people are winners and other people are losers, and no matter what you do, you're going to be a loser because that's just the way the universe is constructed. And so we would ask, how does that feel about you, even when you're feeling, even when you're believing the most broken thing you believe? Because anybody can tell you how something higher feels about them when they're doing great. What we're curious about is when they're at their worst. And when they're at their worst is really when they're going to be, when they're believing the lies that the bitter, angry fate has been telling them. So, okay, so we've set up this process, and we see that you believe that the universe is set up in such a way that you can never have the romantic relationship you want. Other people kind of can. You're not allowed to. So great. All right, we see that now. All right, what's the higher power like who would set that up and walk away? Well, that higher power hates me. Okay, is that really the highest, most merciful higher power your heart can conceive of relating to? Heck no. All right, are you willing to go seeking? And as they seek that, we start to ask the question, okay, from your best sense of this true, merciful, loving higher power, how does that feel about you, even when you've bought the idea that the universe is constructed so that you can never have the love you want? And they'll say, whoa, I feel compassion, I feel love. It really isn't that way. All right, that gets them in touch with an energy that's truly able to transform. And then once they're filled up with that mercy, love, and compassion, we ask them, I guess there are three questions, right? We ask them the third question, which is, from this new energy, is it true you can never have the love you want? Wow, no. From this energy, it's not true. From this energy, that love is there for me, and I'm going to keep going. Wow, I feel re-inspired for my life. Or, from this energy, is the universe set up so that there are winners and losers, and you always have to be a loser? They're like, no, my God, that's bullshit. That's the way my dad thought about things. That's not the truth. Holy smoke. So that's how we do that. We want to ask these questions. I'm going to run by them again. I'll give you the bonus one too. The first question is this truly the highest, most merciful, something higher your heart can conceive of relating to? The second one is, how does that true, merciful blessing feel about you, even when you've bought the idea that bad thing? And then the third bonus question is, okay, from this new energy, what is true? And you can ask things like, how can your future be from here? When you look forward into the days and weeks to come with this energy, how does it feel like your life might be able to unfold? So anyway, that's I just wanted to give you those three things today, and I hope you'll share this with whoever it needs to be shared with if you're in groups with that kind of thing. And I hope you'll use these two questions and the bonus question, and give me some comments and stuff below, and let me know. Let me know if you've used this stuff, or let me know if you can relate to this or have any questions. So that's it. I'm doing this every weekday. I will see you all Monday.